Okay, I have Ivan Raiklin at the RNC coming to us live right now to go over what's going on. Ivan, thank you for joining me.
No, I appreciate you having me back on. I must have been okay on the last one, so thanks to you.
Absolutely, over 1 million views. It was a great interview. What is
Wow.
the mood there at the event? Because we're just coming off of an assassination attempt, and now it seems like everybody's on a high. What's the feeling there?
No, I mean the security is it's massive, right? There's federal, obviously, the Secret Service. So when you designate an event, it's known as a National Security Special Security Event, NSSE. That means basically all federal uh, resources are applied in order to make sure that there's sufficient security for an event that is inside of a state, local, or private sort of bubble, right? So this looks like more of a primarily private venue, Fiserv Arena, Fiserv Forum. And so the NSSE allows for those federal assets to be deployed. And we're talking Secret Service, particularly since this is more of a presidential, right? We're protecting a future, more than likely, actually almost certainly at this point, presidential candidate. And then obviously many of the people, as far as the security posture goes, so each delegation of the states are essentially placed in a particular hotel venue where they're all there. And there's a organized bus where you basically have local law enforcement as well as Secret Service that is riding along with the actual delegation. So I happen to come in as I'm here as a guest of several delegations, Vermont, Iowa-ish, and so I'm with the Vermont delegation coming in here today. And we started a couple minutes late because we just got through security. A little bit more security today because it's expected that this is going to be a packed house.
Okay.
Obviously.
What has President Trump's mood been? From what I can see on TV, he seems in a good mood, but he seems like his energy is a little bit more mellow than normal.
Well, the thing is that he hasn't spoken yet since
Okay.
that failed assassination attempt occurred. So it's hard to judge. I know there's a lot of people that are giving speculative kind of analysis. I've been a professional analyst, and I would say that it you can't we don't have the data points to really give an assessment because he hasn't spoken. He's just sitting there, and then you're watching his responses to those that are being supportive of him, in the lineup of speakers. That's really all we have to draw from in terms of data points that are publicly seen. I haven't had an opportunity this week to interact with him. In fact, I always say this. I have never communicated with him directly or indirectly, and it's by design because I want to be able to.
Oh, we've lost you.
There, can you hear me?
Yeah, you were saying. Continue with what you were saying.
Yeah. So I just wanted to kind of clarify that. Did you hear me say that I had never communicated directly or indirectly?
Correct.
By design, basically, because I think America needs somebody that can, separate from the political party structure, go as hard as possible without having any negative impact, right, to a candidate that's trying to run their operation. But I'm just trying to call out the government corruption completely across the entire spectrum. And sometimes it's not politically expedient to go after certain individuals. And for me, I could care less who it is, both political parties. In fact, we're in the heart of the Rhino establishment here, and one of the names that's not here, uh, basically extinct Rhino, is the Paul Ryans of the world, who's just down the road in Racine. But oddly enough, his best buddy Reince Priebus is running the convention itself. Okay, but needless to say, security's good. Everything seems okay. I don't think there's going to be any sort of a shenanigans or an inside sort of job because there's just too many people here that would not allow for it. Because then, if there's an inside job taking place, I would say that the people here would immediately service and dispose of that insider doing any sort of nefarious act. So they would have to really make a consideration on whether or not they're going to go to that level.
Yeah. On Saturday, what was your first reaction when you heard that President Trump had been shot at, that there was an assassination attempt? And what are your thoughts on this security failure?
Uh, two things immediately came to my mind. I mean, back in February when I was on Alex Jones, we basically laid out that as soon as they realize that they cannot block President Trump from securing the nomination, they're going to go to these lengths. That's the first thing that came into my mind. And then immediately after, I thought, because he survived it, he is now the most powerful, influential, legitimate, credible leader on and person in the world, on the planet. He right now has unlimited ability to clean house. Okay. Now going back to what you're saying, what's his kind of tone, demeanor? It's yet to see. I would say that the up until his assassination point, the most influential figure was Elon Musk. But after Elon Musk endorsed him, within minutes of that taking place, I say that he is massively more powerful and influential than he has ever been. And so that's why nothing's off the table for them. So we are kind of in a very tenuous time in our history where we have to keep an eye out that, if they don't convince Joe Biden to step aside, they could potentially do the same thing and be successful on Joe Biden. And I always denounce any form of political violence. I'm sick of them doing live stream swatting, raid, kidnappings like they did to Roger Stone. I'm sick of them doing political murder hit jobs like they did to Ashley Babbitt, like they did to Roseanne Boylan. I'm sick of them conducting political violent armed robbery like they did to Mike Lindell in a parking lot, John Eastman in a parking lot, or whether it was Scott Perry, Congressman, former chair of the House Freedom Caucus a few years back. That needs to stop. And because I'm calling them out, my voice is going because I've been talking nonstop on interviews. The reason why they're coming after me through publications such as Raw Sewage or Smother Joke or Smother Jokes, I think they pronounce it, or whether it's yesterday, I think it was Raw Sewage again, right? Is because they're trying to cover up for their transgressions that I'm exposing by name, date, place, and transgression, thus the target list. And Jamie Raskin is one of the lead individuals that's trying to make me look like I'm the biggest villain in the history of humanity. Luckily, I bumped into Clay Higgins yesterday, and let's just say that Jamie Raskin, if you're listening in, it's going to be fun times. Because guess what? You've already investigated me 20 times over. It's my turn, and you are not passing scrutiny with the limited resources that I have. And maybe they're not so limited, because I had a 30-minute conversation with Matt Taibbi yesterday that's going to be further developed as we compare notes with Mr. Taibbi, Michael Schellenberger, as we cull all the communications of Twitter holdings, and you, Jamie, and everybody else on our deep state target list, to include your wife, Sarah, who was involved in the unmasking of General Flynn. And we are going to be coming for you in the most peaceful, patriotic, legal, moral, and ethical manner ever known in the history of humanity, to the max. And we're going to be doing that with our friends in red counties, with red district's attorney, with red sheriffs. And oh, by the way, we're going to use the precedent that you set with Alvin Bragg, with Fannie Willis, and what you did with the list of targets that you guys did, with what you did to Roger Stone, Steve Bannon with that kidnapping. Peter Navarro was just got out as a kidnappee. You set the precedent. Thank you. Now I get to communicate with about 250 sheriffs starting Saturday at the Texas Sheriff's Association. As I explained to them, be prepared to work with your district's attorneys as we provide you the criminal evidence to start to action by geotag location that Elon's sitting on, and you get to service these individuals. And if you need deputies, I have about 80,000 individuals at a minimum that would be honored to go through the requisite training to be able to support you sheriffs in servicing those targets, starting maybe with Texas and other states like Kansas or Louisiana and all the other overwhelmingly red districts where the evidence leads to that jurisdictional hook. so that they conduct precedent like Alvin Bragg, Fannie Willis, and the live stream swatting raids like they did to Roger Stone. Legally, morally, ethically, to the maximum.
Let me get your thoughts on this. There's a lot of people out there that are saying that President Trump set this assassination attempt up in order to get sympathy votes. You have Joy Reid. I'm going to play a video here in a minute after you answer. I want to react. She is saying she thinks his injury is
bring
fake.
on a single-digit IQ individual that looks like, I mean, that's like, her hair looks like President Trump's, but, I mean, if you want. I mean, sometimes she peaks at double-digit IQ, but whatever.
Yeah, let me go ahead and play that and get your reaction here.
We still don't know for sure whether Donald Trump was hit by a bullet, whether he was hit by glass fragments, whether he was hit by shrapnel. We don't have those details. We actually have no details from his physician, even though this man is still a Secret Service protected, and presidential candidate. We know almost nothing. Why? Why don't we know that much? We know that 3 people were shot. 1 person, unfortunately, was killed at the rally. We don't know where they were sitting or standing relative to him. We don't know why, for 9 full seconds, Donald Trump was allowed to stand back up during an active shooter situation, even though they, at that point, had said the shooter was down. How would they have known if there were more shooters or not? Nobody knew. That there could have been 5 shooters for all they knew. Yet they allowed him to stand up in the middle of that, crisis and pose for a photo and fist pump the air so he could get the iconic photo. And then they allowed him to stand up again outside of the SUV instead of just shoving him into the SUV. That seems really unusual. What is the actual injury to Donald Trump's ear that's under that bandage?
All right. You're a very popular man. You can't go anywhere without somebody wanting to talk to you. So what do you make of these people that are saying that Donald Trump has faked his own assassination in order to become president? Feel free to go ahead and get that picture.
Real quick. So I wanted to respond to Joy Reid that you brought up there. Again, single digit, kind of mental midget. But basically, she's relying on information. She's like, oh, no one knows. It's because she's relying on the FBI's own information that's conducting an investigation. The same people that covered for the Biden criminal syndicate laptop. The same people that censored and illegally spied on General Flynn Carter Page. I want to be seeing Carter Page in about 30 minutes over at this movie, Government Gangsters. I saw him last night. The same individuals and content that she's relying on to create her false, garbage, I'll keep it clean, defecate-filled information is from the very discredited domestic terrorist organization in America known as the FBI, okay? And again, I don't acknowledge, why do we even amplify these complete ignorant buffoons? I think it's incumbent on us to raise the bar maximally, to basically shame them into being more professional at their job and doing investigative journalism. Because right now, every single time we advertise their logo or their face, it gives them at least some level of credence. The reason why I call these scum raw sewage, Roytards, Washington compost, new woke slimes, and the rest of the cabal is because they do not deserve any of our respect. And when they deploy an individual so-called journalist to come ask me questions, I will give them a first opportunity as a human being at the personal level to represent themselves professionally. And there have been instances where a political reporter has come at me in a very cordial, professional manner, and I tell them, at a personal level, you came at me with proper questions, professionalism, and I will respect you. But know this, the organization that you work for is absolute garbage. And with that in mind, I will always see you as having poor loyalties for not the truth until you can prove otherwise. And some of those that come, like this week, raw sewage and smother jokes reporters came to me. And what happened to them? Some people were commenting in my X feed when I posted them. I mean, it was First Amendment genocide. Well, because I'm not going to let you create your narrative without any sort of pushback. And my pushback, some people consider a little bit too much. Well, I haven't even started speaking in a spicy manner.
Yeah.
I maintain my calm, cool, and collected, maybe intense for some, but I'm at about 5% of what I'm capable of.
All right. Did you need to get some photos with a couple of people really quick?
No, we're doing a show here.
Okay. No worries. I wanted to be respectful.
I already committed to this show. This guy's big time. I've never heard of him because he's still on CommieTube, but he has the courage to have me on, so I'll come on.
Awesome. Hi.
Hello. You guys,
Hey,
thanks
you know
for
that
coming
I was
on the
on-
show.
Steven, you know that I was on Hodge Twins, and 2 hours after they posted my interview, CommieTube zapped it?
Wow. No, I did not know that. That's
So
not
be
good.
careful.
He calls it CommieTube.
Okay, I wanna ask you. I'm reading that DHS head Alejandro Mayorkas is doing everything he can to block Kim Cheatle from the Secret Service from testifying before Congress. Do you think he's a part of the mistake and this assassination attempt as far as not giving President Trump the resources needed?
I wouldn't call it a mistake. I mean, every single action they've made has been completely deliberate. He's been actually impeached by the House, but Senator Schumer and Mitch McConnell won't even hold a Senate trial to actually convict this fool. I would love to be a witness. I've talked to Congressman Mark Green. I told him I would love to be your witness as the prime example of weaponization by the DHS in its censorship role digitally and physically when they conducted Fourth Amendment gang rape of me while I traveled through the TSA checkpoints throughout this country. I'm an owner of Clear, TSA PreCheck. I had a military lieutenant colonel reserve ID card. They still conducted Fourth Amendment rape, secondary screening, Quiet Skies program kind of activity on me, and I have video evidence to prove it and how they comported themselves. That needs to be shown to the country. Honorably discharged, lieutenant colonel retired, not a single blemish in my record, selected for battalion command, and they treat me like this, yet they facilitate the onslaught of an invasion of criminal actors trespassing, raping, pillaging, murdering our American citizens, but yet they deploy resources to come after me. You weaponize me against you, Allie, and the rest of the people on my deep state target list. I don't care if anybody participates with me. I am coming for all of them to the maximum allowable under the law. And every waking minute, I am going to try to motivate those institutions that can create maximum consequences for them. If the House is not going to push for the Senate impeachment, guess what? We're going to figure out other ways, and we're coming for them.
Okay.
My voice is done.
Okay.
I've done like 40 interviews this last 48 hours.
Okay. Final question, then I'll give your voice a
I'm
break.
not like Mike Lindell. I have a limit on my voice.
Do you think Joe Biden will step down this weekend and install Kamala Harris as his replacement?
The first part, I assess with moderate confidence. It is likely that he will be stepping down. As far as who it'll be, I really don't have a clear picture to tell you. The options at this point are going to be some level of replacement with a combination, and I don't know how it works out because some are more complicated. Kamala Harris, possibly Barack Obama is going to try to advocate through the media that he can technically be a vice president for up to 2 years. Or if Biden pushes back hard, he could potentially be Biden's VP pick. I've already pre-bunked that constitutionally. Read the 22nd Amendment. It debunks that. And then from there, Hillary Clinton's going to have a role. Nancy Pelosi, Hakeem Jeffries, Chuck Schumer, and Michelle Obama and Gavin Newsom. A combination of those people have really the influence that can really make it painful for another attempted run for Biden. And I think they're seeing the writing on the wall. The wild card is if Joe Biden slips in instead of Joe, so that you don't have to change anything. It's still a Biden-Harris ticket.
Oh, wow. Okay. Hey, I'm going to let you go. You got people all around you. Your voice is going out. I appreciate you. We will catch you. Hello there. We will catch you after. Yes. I love it. Hey, thanks, Ivan, for all you do. We'll see you on the next time.
Thanks for having me back on, Steve. I appreciate it.